hydration for us is an every person problem. You can't just buy a healthy body. You have to invest in it, nurture it when you've got the chance.
On today's episode of Taking Care of Business, we're with Charlie Wright, who is the CEO and founder of Humantra. This guy is the business that's on everybody's lips.
The word Humantra in the UAE is Googled 4 times more than electrolytes.
How did Humantra come about?
I used to get headaches all the time, migraines. I was sick. My immune system must have been in the gutter. If you're mates with 5 losers, you're going to be the sick.
So that's mindset, nothing else.
Mic drop.
This is the one you do not want to miss. Tune in. On today's episode of Taking Care of Business, we are here with Charlie Wright, the CEO.
Yeah, I think so now. Yeah, I can call myself that.
CEO of Humantra. And that stands for what I found out earlier, human and mantra mixed together.
Nailed it.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Love to be here.
So we were talking off camera before and we're talking about Humantra and Dubai and business. And I said, when I was starting the conversation, I think you're one of the best success stories in Dubai business in the last 3 to 4 years. I don't know your financials and we don't need to discuss financials, but your product and your word is on everyone's lips.
Yeah, it's actually, I appreciate it. It's an interesting stat that the word Humantra in the UAE is Googled 4 times more than electrolytes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool stat. But it's been a while, 3 and a bit years. I've been here for 11 years now, so it hasn't all just been rosy.
Yeah.
But the last 3 years have been pretty special.
Well, look, I think speaking to you again about your journey, we're going to delve into that very quickly. But when I look at Humantra, or Humantra, should we say, you guys at the moment are probably one of the most explosive local brands out there. I think I'm going to put Allsopp and Allsopp in that explosive brand category as well as my friend Chris Fade, that I think has got an incredible fitness brand himself and what you're doing. And I think I sit with KCAL and a few other brands that potentially are, and which you are, going outside the UAE now into the UK, which we'll discuss in a minute. How did Humantra come about? How did you end up getting set up?
Yeah, good question. I think if we look at like the problem first, from my mindset, look, my dad passed away about 2 years ago. And I think prior to that, he was ill for about 8 months. Not a sob story. I think it's just a critical piece to the puzzle.
Yeah.
We realized that, no matter how much money you got, you cannot just save lives at the end of the day. And that you can't just buy a healthy body. You have to invest in it, nurture it when you've got the chance to. And I realized at that time that I needed to do something like with my personal health. I'd been here like 7 years. I don't think I hadn't been to the gym.
What?
Yeah, in 7 years. I moved here when I was like 24. I didn't go to the gym.
But you're 6'4", you're in good shape.
Yeah, but it hasn't always been like this.
Fine.
Yeah. I probably had a bit of a glow up as this all happened. But yeah, I didn't prioritize my physical or mental health.
Wow.
And I think that at that point in time, like with my dad getting ill, my logic was like, I'm going to use like physical pain to mask emotional pain.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, let's get in the gym. I was like training twice a day, working all day, building, the sort of foundations of Humantra. And just not trying to think about what was going on. But in that process, for me, it was like, if I'm doing 2 workouts a day and I'm trying to work all day, like how can I fuel myself correctly? So I was like trying everything to make sure I had energy in the mornings and I could fuel myself all day. And I think rather than talk about all of them, it was like, for me, the most foundational health piece to all of that was hydration.
Okay.
I was never drinking enough water. I was always going into workouts, office, just feeling tired. I used to get headaches all the time, migraines. I was sick. I'd get cold and flu super easily. My immune system must have been in the gutter.
Probably you ain't been to the gym in 7 years.
Exactly. So for me, it was like, right, okay, well, the foundational health need here is hydration, and it's tough. More people need to do it. And then sort of setting up here, I was super fortunate to get some backing from Huda and Mona Katan in the Huda Beauty Investments sort of incubator program. So we launched Humantra around 3 years ago, ideating the product, and then look, fast forward three years, here we are now.
So let's talk about, obviously, Huda Katan, which for me is such an impressive backer to have in your business. Now, Huda Katan and her beauty cosmetics, I'm going to guess, do you know what the value of her business empire is? It's
billions,
It's billions, yeah. Okay, so it's an incredible backer, and I know that she's incredibly well connected and comes across publicly really, really well. Having Huda Catan backing your business and the Catan family, I suppose, of the investment portfolio. How did that come about? How do you go about saying to everyone, "Hey, I've got hydration salts," to turning it into Humantra, one of the biggest brands for?
Yeah, good question. I think it's definitely not like idea and then let's all piece together. I think, and everyone sort of says it, it's like people,
Mm,
whether you're surrounding yourself with the right people, you know, your friendship circle, family, whatever that is. I think with business, definitely.
yeah,
I'd pitched Huda Beauty Investments around 4 years ago in my
yeah,
previous business. We'd always stayed in touch. And I think it came down to characteristics of like how I wanted to be an operator, how I approach things, and sort of an opportunity came up. Um, and I think really from an econ background is what
yeah.
I'd sort of self-taught myself, that there were certain key characteristics to a supplement business that made sense.
Mm,
It's a replenishable product.
yeah,
People need to take it all the time.
yeah.
It was lightweight. We could actually ship it to people. But I think there was a real big problem, and the market in the US had exploded.
Who were the
Um,
ones that exploded in the UK? Who's the biggest?
so like US, I looked at like Liquid IV. So
Okay.
it was acquired by Unilever. It's now $1 billion revenue business.
Wow.
You've got Element in the US, which is super high in sodium. They're doing like 300 million top line. So
Wow.
category in the US had boomed.
Mm,
But I think one thing I'd always seen since I've been here, and I moved here in 2014, that people had a lot of success when you took ideas from the West and localized them here. And so it was like, right, well, you know, previously I'd done it with contact lenses, seen it in the US and the UK, we did it here, and that worked to a varying level, you know, of success. But in this sense, it was like, right, there's so much we can learn from these operators in the West. How can we localize it and create a category here?
which is madness because you've done that. I mean, we're no similar, quite similar to be honest, because really we took the Allsopp and Allsopp concept from being an agent in the UK.
Yeah.
That was my job originally. And I realized that how I did the job, as in the viewing feedback, structuring the business, the paydays, the meetings, the structure, we brought that to Dubai. So effectively, we took that from the West because when we came here, that didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was just sell some houses and see what happens. Interestingly, you're also in the UK now, so you've gone from being a local business to a global business.
Yeah, I think that that's always been my intention. I thought there was a huge like lack of brands in the region that
Mm.
had gone global. I think actually being partnered with Huda and Mona has been incredible to watch them build a truly global
Are they?
operation.
Do they? Okay, let me ask you a question
Yeah.
about this because I've never taken funding before, by
Yeah.
the way, and I would if it was the right business for us, not as in also one of my other businesses. Um, when you go to meet Huda, and this is for people watching this, really, not percentages. Don't want to go into detail. What happens? Do they go to you and say, "Okay, we'll take a slice of your business based on this value, and we'll give you the cash, and you have to invest the cash"? What happens from that side?
Yeah, look, I think fundraising is it can be quite predatory
Yeah,
in some senses, and entrepreneurs can get, you know, poor deals or not the right deals. I think fortunately I was in a pretty mature ecosystem with I think best in class operators at Huda Beauty Investments. It gave, and I've built a business on my own before. I had a co-founder, but it was all our own money,
okay,
and it was super tough. It's super lonely. And when you're almost setting fire to your own money to build something, it's scary, it's hard to scale, and it can be incredibly lonely. And so I'd done that. And I think really to move the needle forward, and some people raise money for the wrong reasons
correct.
and they celebrate raising money like that's.
They get a paper valuation. They think they're millionaires.
Of
Like
course.
I've seen it
I
many
think,
times.
from the outset, we had a tangible plan on how we could move the business forward. We
Mm,
always had global ambitions. And like for me, it's not like the runway got longer when we raised money.
yeah,
The runway stayed the same length. We were just going way faster down that runway. I've got great people around me, but ultimately, like it's a trade-off, right?
yeah,
And I think if you look at it in that sense, it's like, well, they get something and you get something.
yeah.
And I think if you can find the right people to support you, then you're going to get great outcomes. But I think there's just a big disparity in people like chasing things for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
partnering people with the wrong reasons, and you see all these horror stories. But for me, I've been incredibly fortunate.
If I was to take a partner in my new startup, I would go for somebody that can open doors. It's not about the money.
Yeah.
And I've seen that obviously you're on Deliveroo.
Yeah.
You're in Spinneys.
Yeah.
Where else are you in Dubai at the moment?
So we're the number one selling supplement on Amazon.
Wow.
in the UAE, which is pretty cool. Deliveroo's been a phenomenal platform for
I go
us.
Deliveroo, by the way.
It was crazy because I remember when we signed the initial contract with Deliveroo, I was like, oh, we'll never sell electrolytes on Deliveroo. No one wants them in 10 minutes.
Do you know why I want them? Do you know what I use
Yeah.
Deliveroo? I use it over Talabat. I use it over anyone else. Is I like accountability for the driver. Like I
Yeah.
like to know that I can walk downstairs and pretty much I know I'm going to meet that driver.
Yeah.
And even if you offered me a discount to go directly to you, I still wouldn't take it because I want to know where the driver is. So I think
Yeah.
you find a lot of people will just do it, and because a lot of people in today's world want instant satisfaction, they want
100%.
gratification
Yeah.
immediately.
I think if you look at this market as well, like it's a very Deliveroo quick centric market. People want things quickly. And I think like had it been Charlie 5 years ago, I was like, no, I'm going to build an e-com only business and I'm going to sell on this channel and everyone has to buy it here.
Yeah.
And I think that maturity in my mindset was like, look, right, well, we've got a consumer base. If they want to buy it on Deliveroo, well, then we'll sell it there. If they want to buy it in Spinneys, we'll sell it there. Look, from a brand perspective, we don't sell everywhere. We've got key channels where we want the product to make sure the brand stays where we need it to be. But yeah, Deliveroo's been a wild platform. We did a collaboration with them for Ramadan. We launched Rose, which was insane. And we also worked with them over the summer to make sure their riders were hydrated.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what? So you had a hydration stand?
So there were two, we had two sort of co-branded buses with AC so the drivers could jump on those buses and cool down.
Deliveroo pay for that and you
Yeah,
give
it was
hydration?
both of us. Yeah. And we allocated stock, which we allocated some of the Rose stock to drivers. And I think that really we don't do it for a pat on the back, but it's like everyone has the same right to hydration, whether you are Lewis Allsopp, CEO of Allsopp and Allsopp, or if you are a delivery driver, delivering
The
50 meals a
Deliveroo
day.
driver can have it. I'm hydrated, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
these
think-
guys deserve
Yeah,
it.
and so like we look at it like hydration doesn't discriminate.
Correct.
And so everyone starts their morning on the same level, hopefully. And so like hydration for us is an every person problem.
Yeah, I agree. So you've been open 3 years now. Has the growth been as explosive as you thought it would be?
Yeah, I think it's
Say that. You look hesitation. You say that with.
it's surprised us.
Okay.
And I think that the UK has been a great market for us, but I think the one that continues to surprise is the UAE. I think it's a phenomenal market. I think it's often overlooked. It's a big market.
Yeah.
And I think it's only getting bigger. You'll probably say you're testament to that, seeing people moving. I mean, the roads are a joke at the moment.
It's good for me, that.
Yeah, like we see correlation, especially with people coming back after the summer.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely surprised me. And I think actually having people around me that have scaled to bigger numbers than us helps push me because I'm like, oh, well, my mindset's here.
Yeah.
This is what I think is
Acceptable,
achievable.
yeah.
And at every point, and I think the best part about it is like, no one's patting me on the back. No one's like, great job, Charlie.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's cool. Well, I remember having a board meeting in December and Huda's like, do more, go faster. Even we had a board meeting yesterday. Same sentiment, do more, don't rest on your laurels, be scrappy, go fast.
So you're actually meeting with Huda as well?
Yeah, we had a board meeting yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so on the board meeting, when you're talking VC world, I suppose you have to present them your growth, profitability, revenue targets. Are you at the targets they want, or are you not there?
Yeah, as a business, I mean, not to talk exact numbers, but yeah, the business is in a great position.
Okay.
And I think we're at a point now where, we have global bigger ambitions and it's less like backward facing. It's not a pat on the back and this is all great. We're all happy. It's like, okay, well, what are our key focus areas on moving forward?
Yeah.
How are we going to execute on those? And like, what support does Charlie need to help us get closer to those?
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, it's never going to be a pat on the back scenario. And I think whether it's at work, at home with my fiance Alex, she's never like, oh, well done. It's like, right, well, what's next?
That's no one understands that when you own a business. Like I tell everybody, when shit hits the fan, it's on you. But when things go well, it's on everyone else.
100%.
And I'm happy to take that. And I think to run a business, you have to have thick skin. And I said this to you off camera before, but I'm very emotionless now. Like it would take something absolutely wild to rock me because I've seen everything from the pandemic to lockdown to some of our best staff leaving, being poached, and everything you could imagine. And now I'm just like, okay, cool. How do we move forward? What's the next step? Like there is no emotion when you're talking about business decisions.
100%. I say I'm not going to do the whole story, but there's a story about a Chinese farmer, and the sentiment really remains around like one bad thing happens, and people say that's bad, and he's like, I don't know if that's good or it's bad, and then the next day, off the back of that, something positive happens. In the same sense, it's like, okay, well, I don't know if that's good or bad, because really, it's life isn't just about singular moments.
Correct.
It's how they all piece together.
Correct.
And I said this morning about like a deal might fall through, and there's probably a reason for that, and you'll learn from that, and maybe down the line it will all piece together and you'll understand how it is. And so for me, it's very much like, okay, well, bad things are going to happen, good things are going to happen. Don't get overly fanatical when great things happen, same when bad things happen, and just try and like just ride with the punches.
Okay.
And I think that for me, like that's the best part of it. Like we ride together, die together. I've got a team now, which is great. And cool shit happens, but also bad shit happens. But it's also like knowing I've got a team of people around me that when shit hits the fan, we're going to problem solve and we'll get through it.
Do you think your team, because I remember when I used to be on the floor and run the division, if shit hits the fan, my team looked to me to be the guy with the flag to say it's all good. Are you still in that mode at the moment where you're the guy with the flag?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a maturity in my ability to be a leader. I think before, if I got super emotional, it's fine because it was just me. Whereas now, like I've got to be cognizant that if I'm worried about something, that's going to immediately trickle down to stuff. And so like my logic is like, right, well, I might be struggling with this, or I might be nervous about something, but I'm going to make sure that I admit I'm nervous. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to dress it up saying that I'm all good, this is great, but I'm not going to be like, it's just about problem solution. It's like, guys, maybe I am nervous about this. I always talk about how I feel.
Yeah.
I remember walking into a team meeting on a Monday morning last week, and I was like, guys, like I'm nervous about this.
Yeah.
And then we immediately talk about things.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be like, oh my God, flapping. Like, stay calm. We'll solve it together. So I'm much more cognizant of like my effect on other people now.
Yeah, I think one of the superpowers of a good entrepreneur is that you need to be able to channel your emotion to create a reaction.
Yeah.
And I think that is such a hard thing to do. It comes with maturity, and not just age, but business maturity of going through the life lessons. And now I know that I could be in a room with somebody. If I want everybody to believe in what I'm doing or what I'm saying, I have to act and talk a certain way. And if I want to do another way, I talk a certain way. And what you do is you influence the room around you, which creates their day and their week. And to be honest with you, how they project to the people around them.
Yeah.
So having that leader is so important. I mean, I've never had a day in the business where I'm not fine. Even if I'm not fine, we're talking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I went through when I owned Allsopp, I broke up with my girlfriend. I went through a stage where I was partying all the time and everything else. And you could see I wasn't fine. That was part of life, going through that, then breakups, things like that. And when that happened, I'd go into the boardroom and I'd just be like, cool, let's get some deals done. We got stuff to do. And like, it's complete, you're fine. You've got to be in some sort of fine mode to run a business. I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people to do.
Yeah, I think, but like life is life as well. There's going to be good, there's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as you like learn to deal with it, like you can use it and harness it to do so much good. Like for me, like personal life, for a long time, I didn't have a personal life. Like I think balance is such a terrible concept. Like I think I've got some semblance of balance in my life now, but there was a period of time where balance wasn't an option.
I think you have to have it though, to be honest with you. I mean, I was on stage a couple of years ago with Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah.
And he's a very nice guy, but I've listened to a few of his podcasts. I don't listen to loads of them because the same with Gary Vee. I think once you listen to the people, it's better listen to me on the podcast, the stories become quite repetitive. But I listened to Stephen, and when I look from the outside in, I might be wrong, I feel like he hasn't got a life balance. I think he's all work, but when he's at home, he hasn't got a partner. He hasn't got that life, and he's chasing that. And I think that you have to have all of that to be good in life. It's not just about being good at work. And if you haven't got that, you can think you've got everything. When everyone's home at 6 o'clock, you're on your sofa alone without somebody. So I think having that full circle, and you've probably seen this being engaged, you've got to have it to be complete.
Yeah, I totally agree. For me, it's like, balance is, but it's like being fully present where you are. Like when I'm at work, if I'm at work for 10 hours a day, that's it. I'm focused on what I'm doing at work.
Yeah.
But when I go home, like, that's switch off and like forget work. Don't bring that home. And sometimes like because I love what I do and a lot of the business trickles into my personal life anyway. And like Alex, my fiance, were like, right, okay, let's just stop talking about work.
Yeah.
That's cool. I need to be more present. But like mornings for me, like I wake up really early.
Time do you wake up?
About 4:30. Yeah.
That's not good. What time do you go to bed?
About trying at 8,
8?
8:30. Yeah.
That's half. You got the whole night ahead of you.
Yeah, but I looked at like what I was doing in the evenings.
Yeah.
And it was like watching telly.
It's me.
Like pointless.
Do you know what it? So this is going to sound strange to some people, but I play PlayStation. So I'm 38. I even play Xbox.
Yeah.
And my wife knows now. Like she'll know, and I don't care. I used to hide it when I was younger. But oh yeah, I don't play PlayStation.
That's how you switch off, right?
It's mad what it does to me. So basically, if I'm playing PlayStation, and it doesn't matter what I'm playing, I'm in a different world.
Yeah.
There's not one thought about work. Let's say I'm playing FIFA. All I'm thinking about is putting in the top corner, and there's nothing else.
No.
And that's how my mind works.
Yeah.
And I think what I've learned about myself, and this is how some entrepreneurs work, I always have to, like, I'm like a dog, I have to chase something, and my mind's chasing something. So if I can chase football and it switch off and work, I'm happy. But if I'm not, I will be thinking about something else, and I zone out.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably do the same. You like that.
Yeah, but so like for your evening, like is my morning. I love it because like I'm awake before everybody else, so nobody needs my attention apart from the people that need it.
Yeah.
Like solitude's really important in the morning. Gym is like for me like my place of relaxation, and it's the 1 hour 90 minutes a day where I haven't got to make any decisions. Like I've got it on my app what I need to do.
What app do you use to train?
So I have a trainer, like, so it's online training.
Okay.
So, and I've been doing that for maybe the best part of 2 years now, but I don't have to make a decision. I just go in, this is what I've got to do. I get it done. And for me, like decision fatigue is a real thing.
Yeah, I agree.
And like, I have to make so many decisions on a daily basis, which can affect, so many different people, so many different things.
Decision fatigue is probably sort of never heard, but I agree. So basically I trained this morning.
Yeah.
And how I train, I've got a Techno Gym app. So I'll make my own workout and I'll repeat it for a month and then rinse and repeat, or I pre-select one of theirs.
Yeah.
This morning I went in to train. I said, it's one of the worst workouts I've done. I got it done. But the reason it's decision fatigue, I went in there and I was trying to choose them whilst I was training, or what should I do next? So I write down what I'm going to do. And by the end of it, you just not had a good workout. And I think decision fatigue is probably what I had this morning.
Yeah, 100%. And like you on a daily basis, you've got to make some big macro decisions that affect a lot of people. And so for me, I'm like, right, well, I'll get a period of time where I can just go in.
Yeah.
And that's why I like playing football. Like I play football once a week. And
What position do you play?
Well, it's 5-a-side, right? So you just...
Did you used to play?
Not really.
Okay.
Nah.
Can you play? Are you a toe poker? Do you know how to like curl the ball at the bottom
Look,
corner?
I think I'm 34 now. So what I realise is that, especially in 5-a-side, fitness counts for a lot more.
It's everything.
So like I feel like because I'm one of the fittest in the group, that my skills with a ball are less important because I'll run around the whole time.
Couldn't agree anymore. 5-a-side, I hate playing against a fitter team. They can be the worst footballers, but they're up your ass on the spot. It's horrible.
So but that hour for me, I'm so in the moment.
Yeah.
I haven't got time to think about, and I think like trying to tap into those like childlike moments where you're just kicking about with your mates. Like life's tough, don't get me wrong. And like I love what I do, but there are certain times whether it's like going cinema. I love going cinema. Just like my phone is on silent. You're just watching a movie. It's playing.
Does your missus scroll on the phone when she's at the cinema or not?
No, we like to just
my wife, she's horrible.
horrific.
We were trying to watch last night. I was watching Tulsa King last night.
Good?
So please tell me you've seen Tulsa King with Sylvester Stallone, where he's a gangster.
No.
It's on Paramount Plus on Apple TV. New one's just come out, but like I'm watching. Come on, babe, let's watch it. She's scrolling. You're not watching it. Like,
and then they'll ask you questions.
Yeah, what happened? I'm not telling you.
How do they know that person? I'm watching it for the first time. But yeah, I think for me, it's like I like to just try and find moments in time where I can just chill out.
Yeah.
Be super present, and then once that's done, I'm on to the next thing.
I agree. That is getting a job done. Okay, so Humantra, what is next for you guys? Obviously, you've got the hydration.
Yeah.
Would you venture into anything else?
Do you know when we started the business, the logic was that, and we called it the first product, which is this product, was called Hack One. Because the logic was like, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and just have this whole system of hacks. When we called it Hack One, I think the very next day I was almost annoyed because Hack just went against everything we stood for as a brand.
Which is not, you're trying
to
cheat
no
your way
short
out
term
of it.
consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about long-term consistency. And I was like, I don't want to be good at a few things. I want to be the best at one thing. And that one thing is hydration. So we are an electrolyte business. We sell right now one product in different flavors. Electrolytes will always form the foundation of what we do as a business.
Yeah.
And yeah, Humantra is an electrolyte business. We're about optimal hydration, nothing else. There may be collaborations on flavors
Yeah.
with creators or brands, market expansion, but fundamentally, we sell electrolytes. That's what we do.
What about Logan Paul? Because I've just seen he's just launched. Have you seen it or not? He's just
Yeah,
done
with
the
Mr. Beast.
Lunchables
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so he's done Lunchables, and he's put next to it the
Prime pizza,
Prime.
prime pizza, and some feastables in a box. Yeah.
Correct, and he was showing that his is like lower calories, lower. Obviously, that variation of a model works. Do you think Prime is a good product?
What I will say on Prime, and
Because it
maybe
gets hammered, doesn't it?
yeah, look, what I will say about Prime is that it has been a masterclass in marketing.
Yeah.
To sell a billion of anything is incredible. To sell a billion bottles of a ready-to-made drink in a super saturated space, in a
Because they've took
mature
down
market.
Gatorade, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
Look,
I wouldn't say took them down,
yeah.
but like you've all of a sudden appeared all over the world.
100%. Yeah, they have really like punched way above their weight
Yeah.
and backed it up. And so I think like respect where respect's due. I'm not going to talk about the product qualities or the merits of the product, but in terms of like how they have marketed the product, how they created hype around it, how they created it as a key moment in time and culture is incredible.
Do you think when they were sold out in the shops, they were really sold out, or did they limit the stock?
Look, I think it's a combination of two things. I think you'll see it here if we
Yeah.
relate it to real estate, right? Demand and supply is everything in life.
If
right?
it sells out and there's queues, people want it.
Yeah. So, we sold out a lychee in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And we actually sold out a lychee in 4 weeks. And we'd ordered enough what we thought was for 3 months. So, like, it's great selling out, but also we couldn't get our hands on it for another 3 months. So, I think, like, from a consumer perspective, it's just a tactic from a brand. Like, people see through it now.
Yeah.
Like, consumers are smart. They'll see through it. But I think they
Kids.
grew and scaled so quickly that the reality of it, probably they did run out of stock.
Yeah.
But it helped them massively.
And I think that's one of the big things that I said about kids a minute ago is that what they done very well is they utilize, obviously, Logan Paul, if anyone follows him, he loves his Pokemon cards, his following, his YouTube following. And one thing I've learned about social media as a whole is that if you look at Ronaldo, he's a footballer, but actually he owns hotels and he's now partners with Whoop and he owns all these different businesses. You take the Kardashians, she started off in a TV show, but then she's got Skims and everything else.
Kim Kardashian is, again, an unbelievable success story.
Yeah.
And everyone will be very quick to maybe say that she isn't because of X, Y, Z. But she's a savage.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's undeniable. And I think I think society's got that way a little bit.
That's British people as well, though.
Yeah, where people
British
are like very
hate
quick to bring everyone down.
Oh, he's got gifted that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, it's undeniable. And I think same with Logan KSI. I think, and there's obviously a huge team of people behind them. It's not like they're just saying, we're going to do X, Y, Z. Great operation, but they clearly defined who they were going after. They knew what they were doing. Look at Mr. Beast. Like, there's controversy around him, but undeniable that he knows how to scale and build viral videos on YouTube.
Do you know, look at all these people, what they have in common. It's not talent. They have incredible following and a personality to go with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned in business is that if you stay visible and I've been on like 7 podcasts in the last 10 days and I don't love them. I like talking to people like you because it's easy conversation. But if you get in front of people, you cross-fertilization of audiences, you gather new followers and you're able to launch pretty much any product you want.
I think there's that. So Mr. Beast, again, it's been criticized as this big document that he launched. It's been leaked about how he basically creates viral videos. And one of those sections talks about like using consultants or people that have walked the walk. Essentially, he says like, if we want to go and do a video on eating the world's biggest pizza, well then don't just try from scratch and create it. Go and speak to the person that made the previous largest, biggest pizza. Get all their learnings and then apply it and then go and build it a little bit bigger.
That's just a good business person.
So it's like everything in life, like surround yourselves with people that have walked the walk. My dad would say it like, if you're mates with 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th. If you're mates with 5 people pushing the needle, you're going to be the 6th. So like leverage other people. I said it this morning, like don't ask. Like,
people don't have the money to do that, Joe. That's quite a big thing. Like we're going to launch a new division in our company and I have no idea the intricacies of it. And someone says to me, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to hire the best fucking person that does. and I'll tell them what my vision is,
Yeah.
and they will execute it. And I think that's what some people get lucky with, is that you can go and say, I don't know, you can be, if you've got money and you want to build a building, you can just go and hire the best architect, the best
Yeah,
sales.
but I would say it's back to that. It's like, I think that the beauty, it's so hard now to like create something from scratch
Yeah,
now, because the competition's so high. But the barrier to entry to starting is so low now.
Yeah.
The resources you have available to learn, like you can DM anyone on Instagram. They might not reply, they might not read it, but they might send a message back. And, you know, if you try to learn, I don't know, coding in 2000, there's probably like a few people that could do it, a few like textbooks.
Could chat GPT it now, mate.
Where, like, yeah, your ability now is untold. Like, you can find the manufacturers of the best factories of clothing brands in the UK and the US. You can go straight to them and make your own clothes. So I think barrier to entry is low. You can start. You don't have to have, your mates don't all need to be super successful.
Correct.
But you can learn more than ever before.
But that's on people. We just done a chat outside a minute ago, and if I looked around the room, probably 70% of them would not know how to do or maybe know how to do it, but then follow it up to do a targeted advert audience. So if I was an agent there and I was one of these guys, I'd be like, I'll sell this area, let's do a video, let's test it, but a lot of people don't have the entrepreneurial mindset.
Look at ChatGPT, right? Like, everyone's like, oh, it's going to ruin it. Everyone's got it. Like, what? The way I look at ChatGPT is like, ChatGPT is all about the prompt you give it.
Correct.
So like, yeah, it gives you an output, but it only gives you the output related to what you put into it. So like, my mindset is like, well, I'm going to, when I use it, and I use ChatGPT every day.
Yeah, I do.
Whether I do it for my macros when I'm eating, whether I do it for the gym, whether I do it to write an email, anything like that. I could be doing like 100 or 200 word prompt.
I use Gemini.
Do you? So, but my prompts now, because I give it more data, I get more out of it. So it's not about like complaining about what's available. So what I just want to be the best I can at using these platforms. And like, I think it's just that insatiable appetite to learn. Because I believe I could use ChatGPT better than somebody. Like, can you write this email for me? Or I want to write an email to Lewis Allsopp saying that I want a job. These are the characteristics why I want to get that job, why I think I can excel, why I think he should talk to me. That prompt is going to garner a better response from ChatGPT versus just like, can you write an email to me to Lewis Allsopp, send it out and get a job.
There's some incredible tech coming out at the moment. There's Salesforce just launched an AI agent. So there's going to be some stuff coming out. It's not going to put people out of their jobs, but I mean, we're building some incredible tech at the moment for our business.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose is to bring business back to the agents rather than the whole calling people all day and going through that process. We'll find a way to go, there you go. There's somebody who wants to buy. We've just spoken to them. What do you mean you've just spoken to them? Actually, our chat AI robot is speaking to them, and I can tell you this is what they bought, this is where they want to live, this is their budget. Here's the transcript of the conversation. Give them a call.
Yeah. I mean, look, question for you then. Like, you can give an agent all these amazing tools, great office, great space to be, great environment, culture, all of that. But like, what is it that you've seen in 16 years that makes an agent successful?
Mindset, nothing else. Same conversation we're having. We spoke about it. We've talked about it. Every person that's a problem solver works hard with an insatiable appetite to learn and want to be the best. If you give me that, I'll take that over someone that's got 20 years in agency in Dubai, hands down. And that's how we're going to end the podcast.
Mic drop.
There you go. Thank you very much for coming down.
Appreciate it.
I will say one more time, incredible brand.
Appreciate it.
Love what you're doing. You've seen how much the staff are loving it in there. And I'm hoping we're going to get some sort of Humantra Allsopp collab.
Yeah, 100% incoming. Watch this space.
See you later. Bye.